Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan pipeline is transporting 1 million barrels of crude oil per day to world markets. BTC is an important link in the energy supply chain, and its integrity is key to its sustainable operation. Using new design techniques and modern materials, pipelines such as BTC can be operated safely in sensitive environments. Global energy companies such as BP carry out regular maintenance work on pipelines, which ensure a lifetime of many decades. International studies have shown that the most likely cause of serious problems arises when third parties accidentally or intentionally interfere with the pipeline. The following video is a visual presentation of how a defective section along BTC in central Turkey was replaced with a continuous operation taking 40 hours.
In March of 2006, a hot tap, one of a series of hot taps were discovered on the BTC pipeline, and a normal repair attempt was made on the hot tap. They had problems with that repair and reinstatement of the hot tap, and through a series of engineering reviews and discussions, we decided to go ahead as BIL to initiate a full Stopple bypass, which is actually an isolation of a live pipeline system and cut out with a replacement spool.
Today's going to be a long, difficult day for most people.
The day started with a safety toolbox meeting with the attendance of the entire team early in the morning.
The people that are working in the trench will have a piece of red tape in the front of their hat.
We've done a tremendous amount of work to get to this point.
The project management team also discussed all issues and the plan to go forward before the shutdown began.
We got a call from the Shutdown terminal in Azerbaijan that there was a trip at PSA2, which means we have an opportunity to start 1 hour earlier than the 8 o'clock.
What's going to be the first activity then?
The first step would be for us to drop the upstream stopper to block flow of oil from the upstream portion of the line. After that, we'll drop the downstream stopper, which also blocks oil from coming into the section that we want to cut out. Once the stoppers are dropped, and we reckon it'll take 2 hours to do that, then we have to depressurize the pipeline.
The following TDW animation will go through the sequences that are required to perform an in-field hot tap, Stopple plugging and bypass operation. The hot tapping and line plugging operations are field-proven methods for accessing and operating pipeline while avoiding the shutdown of the line. This plugging and bypass operation temporarily stops the product flowing by acting as a sealed block valve. The attached bypass then reroutes the product around the isolated section of the pipeline, while the required repairs or alterations are being made. After the pipeline repairs have been completed, the bypass is closed and drained for removal. The Stopple plugs are retracted. The completion plug is set and the permanent completion blinds installed at each split tee. Having completed the repair, the pipeline will be returned to its full service and the split tees will remain permanently as part of the pipeline operational integrity.
Hello, this is Chris. Oh, hello, Andrew. How's things? Yes? Yeah, everything's good here. We're ready to go whenever you are. All right, so the pipeline is shut down. All right, we're ready to go then. We're going to start setting the first stopple. All right. Okay, thank you. Bye.
When the team at KP 611 received the go-ahead from Sangachal, the downstream and upstream Stopple plugs were set one by one. An experienced team from TD Williamson worked on this highly demanding job.
At the beginning of this operation, some split T were welded on the pipe. So a team of welding people came and welded all those split Ts. You can see there are 6 of them, 2 big ones and 4 small ones. The big ones are for the stopple itself. So we drill size on size, to be able to introduce a plug, and the 2 small ones are like, say, utility taps. Gas bags, protections, and balance pressure equalization.
With the stopple plugs in place, the team went ahead and started depressurizing the section of line between the 2 stopple plugs. The next task was to remove the 2 of the 4 12-inch stub-on blinds. Then the oil captured between the 2 stopple plugs was pumped out. The project team was established from a regional and multinational group of experts.
Azerbaijani, Georgian, Turkish, multinational teams. And it's not just the high level, it's the fact that we've actually got trained and experienced personnel that we can respond regionally to emergencies or incidents that might occur.
Most of these guys are well experienced. They come from a variety of backgrounds, from facilities to pipeline. And over the last probably the year from working on the western route, we developed this team that we've managed to keep together, through all these projects. So the stoppling, the bypassing, everything we've done on these lines since then has been by the same team, which shows the proficiency of the team and the safety of doing this type of work. It is highly technical work. There's an awful lot involved in putting this together, as evidenced by this particular project.
When the oil was completely pumped out, the team started setting up the wax cold cutters for the cutout operation. This task required millimeter accuracy to obtain clean cutouts. The existing split T pipeline section was cut out as planned. When lifting was accomplished, the project management team inspected the defective pipeline section. The teams moved on and cleaned the remaining oil from the inside walls of the exposed pipe ends in preparation for welding.
We're doing work in all 3 countries, in Azerbaijan, Georgia, and now in Turkey also. We've been working with the BTC and BIL group since prior to startup. Our main responsibility started out as oil spill response contractor. Since then, we've expanded into some pipeline repair and other project type work, as you can see evidenced here today.
2 of the 12 sandwich valves from the 4 stub-ons were removed, and 2 vapor isolation bags were installed for line sealing. Then the secondary protection cardboard plugs were constructed and installed. Edges were sealed with bentonite to provide a vapor-tight, flame-resistant seal. An experienced welder prepared the old pipe carefully for new pipe fit-up. The existing pipeline cutout was measured and the new pipe section was prepared for fit-up and installation.
The most critical part probably is the welding, the online welding, because the line is under full flow, full pressure, and a mistake there could cause perhaps a hole in the line, oil to come out, and because of the cooling rate of the weld, it could crack. So probably the welding is the most critical.
As the evening approached, the team was entering another challenging process all throughout the night. The aim was to meet the 42-hour deadline. When the new pipe section was set cautiously in its place, pipeline clamps were set to begin welding. Some of the best welders in the industry accomplished this precise task throughout the night. It was a joint effort of regional and international specialists.
We were using a downhill process, and downhill welding is prevalent in the United States. And I started welding when I was about 19 years old, and I've welded downhill most of my life, and that's predominantly the procedure we use. In Russia and Azerbaijan, they use uphill welding, and the welders are really experienced and they're really good at their job. And the combination of having us over here running the downhill bead and hot pass and them following up on it really worked good together.
I would say this was a first-class operation. BP has put a great team together. They were all good to work with. Everybody was very professional in their part of the work. It was a pleasure to work with them.
Onlar da bizdən nəsə gördü, götürdülər. Biz də onlardan misal üçün nəsə görüb götürdük. Yəni yaxşı oldu, aramız yaxşı oldu.
When welding was completed, it was time for X-ray teams to inspect the welds, which will carry Azerbaijani crude oil downstream for many decades to come. The X-ray NDT for weld acceptance took many hours to complete. The films were carefully examined and reports confirmed the successful welds. Finally, the two gas bags were deflated and removed through the 12-inch weldolets. The line section was refilled with the initially removed oil. Removal of Stopple equipment took many hours to complete, but the regular pipeline operation was ready to commence.
These guys have been doing a great job in terms of using the knowledge available, whether that's in Azerbaijan, Georgia, UK or US, anywhere in the world. They're not afraid to tap into that knowledge and get their best practices and suggestions, and they're very keen to do the right job over here.
Impression is very, very positive. Obviously this piece of work was a very critical piece of work for us to get done for the BTC pipeline. And you look around the site here and the way things are being managed from a safety standpoint, from a schedule standpoint, everything's just very well organized and very positive impression.
The team also went through extensive environmental risk assessments. They ensured the coordination through the government and through BIL partners and BTC to manage the site.
We incorporated our oil spill response teams from both Georgia and Turkey to manage any potential spills, and they did an excellent job. Safety was well managed and very secure, and I'm pleased with the response.
The time schedule also worked well, and the job was finished on time.
It takes a long time to plan something like this, relatively short amount of time to execute. So people won't see the front end planning and scope definition and scheduling, but we'll see the finished results. And that's the important thing. They really don't need to. I have a great admiration for the region here, for the continued relationship that we have within BIL and BTC, and the common goal that we have of sustaining production throughout the BTC Caspian region.